I would argue that the single most important thing you can do when it comes to getting clarity of thought, being a more critical thinker, coming up with creative ideas, and just generally being more at peace is allowing yourself to be bored. You have to allow time where you're not being stimulated, where you don't have constant loops of content being fed into your brain. You have to give yourself time to actually think, to sit there in that discomfort, to kind of get used to quiet, to just being with your own thoughts, to not jumping to your phone the second you get uncomfortable. And it's really hard because we've gotten to the stage where it's completely normalized for you to be 100% tapped in 100% of the time. Like you wake up, you put on music. You listen to music as you get ready, you watch something on your phone while you eat breakfast, you put on music in the car to work, whatever you're listening to at work, etc., etc., etc. kind of just goes through the day. And if you think about it, there's very little time for most of us where you're actually just sitting quietly with your thoughts. And on the surface, it's like, yeah, duh, like it kind of sucks to just sit there and be quiet. It's boring. Like you could just pull out your phone and find something to entertain yourself in half a millisecond. So why would you not, right? And if this is where your brain is trapped, like it's not your fault. That's where almost all of us are, because that is what our environment has been designed to do. Our phones, the content, the media, like everything is designed to be as addictive as humanly possible. And so this is what is supposed to happen, not for our health and our longevity and our well-being, but for the profits of these companies. So like this is exactly kind of regularly scheduled programming, nothing you've done wrong. But what we need to do is start to get agency back over our brains. Because if you think about it, I feel like a lot of us are feeling kind of lost, kind of overwhelmed. I'm not even gonna go down the whole rabbit hole of social media and comparison and being overly connected. That's something I also feel strongly about. I have a video about quitting social media here, if you're curious. But when there is something constantly going into our ears, into our eyes, we have very little time for creative, original thought of our own. We have very little time to come up with our own ideas. We have very little time and energy to actually process our emotions. We're just kind of constantly in this numb state with something coming in all the time, makes it so we don't have to actually just think, just be. If you're a creative who wants to do more creative things and you feel stuck all the time, you don't know what to do, you don't know what to come up with, you gotta try just being quiet. This goes for so many things. You're trying to make decisions. You feel like you've lost touch with your intuition, with your gut, with your sense of self. If we have constant input coming in, we do not have the ability to create very much from ourselves. So it's incredibly difficult to introduce this habit, to break away from what society has programmed us to do, which is why I've come up with a way to kind of gamify it. I'll get into that in a minute. But I want you to just quickly do an audit. Think about the times in your day, think about what you're doing, and think, is there any time at all where you're just sitting in silence? Is it when you're cooking, when you're eating, when you're cleaning, when you're driving? Anytime? For most people, it's going to be no. And again, that's okay. We're going to work on that. But I want you to kind of get aware and think about like, wow, we are truly connected and addicted to our phones, to our content, to our media, pretty much all the time. I was watching a video about this topic not too long ago, and the creator said something about how we're all basically just grown-up iPad kids now. And I don't know about you, but that's pretty much all I needed to hear to be like, damn, okay, I need to make a change. This is actually ridiculous. Like, why is this tiny rectangle controlling my life? Like, I need to get my brain back. And so the idea I've kind of come up with to gamify this is to break it down into really, really, really easy increments where we're introducing more quiet time into our day. So we're going to start with 5 minutes, literally just 5 minutes. And how I want you to approach it is when you're going to do some sort of task or activity where you would normally reach for music, podcast, TV show, whatever it is in the background, I want you to set your timer for 5 minutes, let that time pass, and then you can go on to consume whatever it was you're going to consume. So let's give a few examples. Like, you get in the car to drive to work. If you normally just put on the radio right away, set your timer for 5 minutes, wait till that's done, drive in silence, and then put the music on. Same thing if you're cleaning the house, if you're cooking food, if you're eating food, whatever it might be, give yourself 5 minutes at the beginning of those activities before you actually put something on to consume. And then you can go into it, and it's gonna be kind of annoying. You're gonna sit there and be like, oh, this sucks. Like, why am I cleaning my house or exercising or doing whatever when I could be watching this video in the background to make it more interesting. But that's the whole point. Like, you want to get a little bit uncomfortable. Like with most sort of growth, it requires a little bit of discomfort, requires a little bit of discipline at the beginning. You got to just take that time, be quiet, let your brain think, let the thoughts go. Even if literally all you're thinking is like, oh my God, I'm so bored, that's fine. That's good. And over time, you'll start to notice that it actually does feel good. Like, it might take a little bit of time, but you'll start to feel like, wow, okay, that was kind of nice. That was kind of like a breather. I actually needed that. Maybe you break out the cycle of some doom scroll that was really making you sad. Maybe you just give yourself a chance to actually think of a new idea. You'll be surprised how many new ideas pop into your brain while you're just kind of sitting there thinking. So over time, that 5 minutes is gonna start to feel a little bit easier. And I want you to start like keeping a tally. Like, let's say you do that 4 times throughout the day, where you have that 5-minute block at the beginning where you're just quiet. So mark that down on a tally. And then tomorrow, try and do a little bit more. So what I want you to start to do is keep track of the number of minutes each day where you're actually sitting in that quiet, sitting in that boredom, making yourself do something without the added entertainment of some sort of media that you're consuming on the outside. That's kind of the gamification process. So if you're at all competitive or numbers driven or anything like that, you'll want to see that number going up over time. And it's literally just 5 minutes at a time. That's very achievable. Anybody can do that. And you'll also start to notice like, wow, it's kind of insane. Like, it was a bit of a struggle and I only got 20 minutes today where I was just quiet. It'll help you become aware of how far we have to go to regain that control of our brains, but it will also get easier because I truly believe you'll start to see some benefits of introducing that quietness into your brain. Not only will you be consuming less, so you'll be giving yourself more chance to actually form your own thoughts and identity and problem solving and creativity, but you're also going to just be giving yourself more time to just be, to just think. It's very, 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 very important. And most of us don't even realize it because we've been completely consumed by these outside inputs for so long. But if you think about it, even 15, 20 years ago, like, this level of connection and input would have been completely unheard of. Like, it's happened so fast that we've become completely numbed. Like, we have a hard time just existing. And I don't want to be all doom and gloom like I think about with AI coming. So many things that are coming that they say are going to replace a lot of human capabilities. I feel like now more than ever, it's really important for us to hold on to what actually makes us human. Our abilities to problem solve, our emotions, our emotional intellect, like all of that comes with taking that time to be quiet, to process emotions, to process thoughts, to not just be programmed by everything around us. Plus, I genuinely think it's more enjoyable and more fun when you actually have that time. And again, I'm not going to say like stop listening to music, stop watching TV. Like, I love music, I love TV. Like, I will still continue to consume it, but just a little bit more mindfully. Like, I've started to, when I go for a long walk, like for the first half of the walk, nothing. And then I listen to music all the way back. Like, it's fine. There's nothing evil or bad about it. But when we do it too much, as with anything else, it takes something away that's really hard to get back. So anyways, main takeaway is just try to introduce some pockets of quiet into your day. Do it in these 5-minute increments, keep track of them, and then work on increasing them over time, because I genuinely believe it'll have a positive impact on your cognition, your state of mind, your general sense of happiness, and then also, you never know what you're gonna come up with. So feel free to leave in the comments. You can keep track of your progress there. Let me know how it's going. If there's any particular activities where you really struggle with that quietness, that's also helpful to hear. But in the meantime, you got this. Don't be overwhelmed. It's only a little bit at a time, and I truly think it'll make a big difference in your life. So go get bored.